Hello again. So today we're going to build a metal building that may be used as what some people call a shouse or a barndominium. Um, I just call it a metal house. So I got a phone call today asking if these buildings can be used as a house. We've been asked several times. So I figured I'd do a video on that today and we'd start from scratch like we normally do. But before we start, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. That way you can watch all of our metal buildings being made on our 3D software here, our 3D custom design software. And I'll give you more and more tours and more videos of different buildings that our customers call and inquire about. And then we make a video to kind of show you those buildings that they are inquiring about, maybe answer a few questions in those videos. So we did have a customer call today asking if these buildings can be turned into a house. Several different questions arise when that is the case. Do you use a concrete foundation? What foundation do you use? What centers are your uprights on? There's a lot of different questions. How do you insulate the building? So I'm going to kind of go through how you would turn one of our buildings into a shouse, barndominium, or just simply a metal house. So again, we always start up here with style. We can start with a couple different ones. I do want to show you how to build this one from scratch today. Because we are assuming that this might be used for a house or be finished on the inside. I've had a lot of people use them as workshops, offices, that sort of thing. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a house, but finished on the inside. We'll keep that in mind. I am going to go with the vertical roof style like I normally do. And the reason why is for the rain and snow shed. Since this is going to be finished on the inside, it is imperative that we have the best style roof for this building. So we're going to go with that. And on size, I'm going to go ahead and select a 30 wide. And then we're going to do 41 long. And this gives us a pretty good square footage for a finished building. The other nice part about the 30 wide is we can order these buildings with 4-foot centers. Now this model shows these uprights on 5-foot centers, but we can do an upgrade and we can order it that way. We actually don't have it in our software here, but if you call and you order a building, we can put that on the order and have that upgrade done for you to where it is on 4-foot centers as opposed to 5-foot centers. So we're going to go to 8-foot height just because that's pretty much a standard wall height, 8 foot. You could go 9 or 10. If you notice here with the truss, if we did sheeting on the trusses like this on the inside of this finished, you would have some sort of a vaulted ceiling. And you would actually have an attic area here to also insulate, which we'll talk about a little later. So obviously because this is a finished building, we are going to fully enclose this building. Now, as before in our conversations on these videos, you can notice that the corrugation runs horizontal, but you know from previous videos, if you watched, I always prefer vertical, and I'll show you how to change that. But this is kind of our main structure here. So let's go back to additional options and let's change that to vertical. So you can see now how the metal runs vertical on the building as opposed to horizontal. The other reason why this is important is because on the inside of the structure there are these purlins that enable the metal to be attached vertical on the side of the building, even though there's going to be 4 foot is the way we would order this building, or 5-foot standard on center spacing for the uprights and the legs. Let's go down and change the color of this building. I want it to look like we're basically going to have it look. I want to do a farm style color scheme here. So we're going to do black and white. And then we're going to do the black wainscoting. This is always a really good farm. And you can even do it without the wainscoting. It still looks like farm style with the white siding and the black roof. Gives it that farmhouse type look. Or gains, I guess, chip gains. So let's see here. So now let's go to the doors. Now let's talk about doors and windows, because This manufacturer actually only has one style of door that they install, one style window. There are a couple different sizes. I would say that these doors and windows are good for a garage or an outbuilding, but they're not necessarily a residential style door or residential style building or a window, excuse me. So what we are going to do is we're going to frame this out. That way the customer can actually select the doors and windows that they want and have them installed on this building after the building is in place. Now, obviously, we'd have, if this was a finished building and we were possibly using it as a house, we'd probably have a lot of windows on here. I'm going to place a few to give you an idea. We'll put 4 on the front and 3 on the back. You could also put some on the side and however you wanted, but we're going to put some of these in place here. There's that one. That one. Okay, that gives us a good image of that side. And then we probably have a back door if this was an office or a house or a workshop. A back exit, so we want to go to walk-in door for a frame out here. And let's move this over to the side since we already have one on the front. And then let's put a couple window 2 or 3 frame outs on the back here. So clone and clone. There we go. Now we have several windows to put in place here. I'll put one there, one here on the end, and then one here. So maybe that's a bathroom or a bedroom. You can see how our windows are placed now. Okay, so we've got several windows, several doors on this house. Now let's talk about the actual insulation of this building. We have a couple different types of insulation that we can install on this building. We could do the double bubble. The double bubble is a radiant barrier. It's more to keep a building from sweating. So it's not necessarily if you were going to climate control a building, but it would keep a building from sweating, meaning moisture to build up on the ceiling, the top part of the building, and dripping down in the building on those warm, humid summer days. The woven R17 actually does have an R value, so this could be a climate controlled building. So you can see we can select the roof, the side walls, and then the actual end walls. And if we selected all those, that would mean that the entire structure would be insulated with the R17. Now the R17 does go in between the corrugated metal and the frame. So that is one option. Another option is to install this building with no insulation and then actually have a spray foam contractor come in and spray foam the inside of this building before you sheet it. And that's where those 4-foot centers come in play. Because if you're going to sheet this either with drywall or some sort of sheeting, or some guys for a workshop will take OSB and they'll actually sheet this stuff. That normally comes in 4-foot dimensions, so 8 foot, 12 foot, 16 foot sometimes. So you would want 4 foot on center so you don't have to keep cutting each sheet. So that's why we would order this building 4 foot on center. The other thing that it does, if you do spray foam, there's less of a thermal bridge on these buildings as opposed to standard wood construction buildings, where standard wood construction has a stud every 16 foot normally, or maybe even 24 foot, a double stud. But that creates more of a thermal bridge from the outside of the building to the inside of the building because there is more studs. So as this structure sits in the sun during the summer and it heats up on the outside, those studs bridge the inside sheeting, and that temperature runs from the outside to the inside, so it creates a thermal bridge. So the inside of the building is heated just because the studs are there. So when you have more space in between the studs, there's less of a thermal bridge, and then you actually spray foam insulate that. that causes it to be even more efficient. So you just have to take in consideration when you're spray foaming one of these buildings that you're really kind of locking it up tight. So any moisture that's in the building would stay inside the building. So you may have to consider some sort of air exchange when you talk about what kind of heating and cooling system that you're going to have in this building. But there it is. That's the building. That would be a Shouse or a Barndominium. I'll put the link to this building below so you can kind of play with it, do different sizes, put different windows on it if you want to change the colors. And you can kind of see how all that would change. Really, my suggestion would be if you want to order a metal building that you're going to finish on the inside, do go to our website, mondohomes.com, mondohomz.com, and request a meeting, or call us 573-375-5753. When you are finishing a building, there is a few more questions that we would ask to make sure we're getting you the correct building and you have the correct upgrades on this building. So that way when that building is installed, it's ready to have your finishes put on the inside of it. But like the video, subscribe to our channel so you can keep seeing these. And really, if you know anybody that's looking for a metal building to turn into a cabin, an office, any kind of finished space, just share this video with them, and maybe that'll give them a little bit of an idea of exactly where to go. So thank you very much today, and we'll do another video soon. Thanks.